Hello, everyone, and welcome to Girl Time Podcast. I am your host, Anisha Huggins, and today I am so excited for this episode because I am joined here with Connie Prater, Jalen Jones, KeAyra Williams, and Sultan Benson. We will discuss how they organized a very peaceful protest here in Muncie, June 4th, and how they gathered more than 3,000 people to march from the Bell Tower at Ball State University to the City Hall building downtown. And just to kind of jump straight in, how are you guys doing individually?
Good.
Doing
good. Nice weather, finally.
Yes, finally. And I am so excited to have you guys here because I know that we are alumni of Ball State, and I know Connie, you're a current Ball State student. And I just want to say how proud I am of you guys as being young people and willing to do such a big thing as organizing protests with so many people. And so I want to know who organized the protest that happened and what was it like putting the team together?
So, me and my roommate, Ishmael, we was both just talking because he's from Minneapolis. So I was just asking him, like, is your family okay? What's going on? And we was just chopping it up, per usual. And I was like, bro, we need to do something. I was like, I don't like just sitting in the crib, because we worried about quarantine when we got life happening before our eyes.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's organize a protest. So I was like, bet. I already knew I was hitting Jalen and KeAyra up. I was like, I already know who we going to. Hit them up, started the group chat, and then, Connie, did you hit me up? Or did I hit you up?
Yeah, I hit you up.
Okay. Yeah, and we threw Connie in the group chat, and it just was like, we locked in.
So when the emphasis, it came together in the day. And I think just having people that were all on the same page and passionate about not only our community, but our people and as a whole, he reached out to us. And it was funny because I was actually in the car and I was on social media thinking about planning a protest. I was planning to come back to Muncie in like less than 20 minutes. That's when he texted me. KeAyra did a flyer. I started making phone calls, started putting together the details. So it came to us.
That's good. Well, you guys did a wonderful job. And like I said before, there were at least 3,000 people that was reported that was a part of the march. So what was the marketing process like, and how did you guys manage to get so many people to come to Muncie, little old Muncie?
I think we all have big platforms ourselves. Like Mufasa's really well known, Jalen's well known, and then I'm from Muncie, so I'm well known here. Mm-hmm. So we just all used our platforms and expanded really quick.
That's good.
I think another part of it was I was able to reach out to like Representative Sue Arrington, who represents Muncie. Like Connie said, like our platforms, I think just flipping all over social media, it got around quick.
Because that was pretty quick.
Yeah, it spread fast. Like, it was like wildfire. Mm-hmm. Like, my mom had found out about it kind of like right at the same time I was about to tell her that she had already given it, please don't go to the riots talk. And I was like, little do you know, I'm organizing a protest. And it just kind of happened. It just spread. I know I was just grateful that we could all use our platforms, like they said. And it reached out to so many people.
What was the time span? Like, when did you guys start, like the first day that you guys met to the point of the date of the march? What was that time span?
That night, I think.
Yeah, so that night? It was a Sunday. It was a Sunday. So on a Sunday. That was the day before I came back to Muncie. So we had it planned over the phone by that Sunday night. Monday, I came from Illinois. And I met with Mufasa and Ishmael at their house. We got it together. And after that, we communicating over the phone. So we all meet up.
Yeah. So individually, Tuba, what was your expectations when approaching the day, and what was your first reaction when you saw the level of participation within the Muncie community?
My expectations was high because a lot of people had reached out to me about like bringing snacks, waters, and based on that, I was like, "Oh, it's about to be real." Mm-hmm. And I remember we were setting up. It was probably like really an hour before the protest started. People started pulling up, and I was like, "Jalen, look." I was like, "Nah." I was like, "They're pulling up early," and he was like, "Nah, bro, this ain't even gonna be close to what it's gonna look like." And I was like, "I already know." I already know, bro. It's gonna be at least 1,000, 2,000 people out here. When we looked up finally, once we started like talking, praying, I was on the stage, I looked at the crowd. I rarely get nervous in front of crowds. Mm-hmm. I was like, whoa, hold on. It's like, this gotta be like 3,000 people in my head. I'm like, oh my God. And it was just beautiful. I just wanted to really keep the peace with that many people because there's so many different personalities at that point. But it was great.
And so I just asked a question, and it's for each person here. So my question was, KeAyra, individually, what were your expectations when approaching the day, and what was your first reaction when you saw the level of participation from the Muncie community?
I had already went to the other two protests that Muncie had, and they were like really small. So I was like, I'm sure Muncie can do better than this. So my expectations were high. Like I wanted us to have a large representation and a lot of people there. And then, like Mufasa said, a lot of people were hitting me up about donations and how they could help and volunteering and stuff. So I knew it was going to be big. Oh, I was in shock the whole entire time. Because like he said, like at first it was just like little groups of people coming. But like out of nowhere, it was like groups of 50 or more coming at a time. And it just grew so fast. It was insane.
For me, my expectation was kind of high going into it, because like you said, like we have platforms and like our influence and the amount of people that knew about the protest and they were reaching out to us, I would expect a good amount of people to come out. But I think my greatest expectation was for people to take something away after the protest. Mm-hmm. If it was one, I said that was the one. And I wanted people to not only come and be a part of a peaceful protest, but to leave and they're uplifted and they're encouraged and inspired to do more afterward. And I think we were able to accomplish that. I promise when we were setting up, I had on pants and they were making fun of me and I was like, I'm gonna go home and change. I wasn't gone for more than 10 minutes. When I left, it was about 20 people. I can't make it up. It was about 20 people. When I got back, there were hundreds of people. I wasn't gone for more than 15 minutes. And I was like, whoa. And it hit me then. And I don't know, it was a surreal feeling. I was a little shocked and then just emotional when the moment I stepped on the stage, because I don't know who brought it up, but they had the idea to start out doing a moment of silence for the length of time that the cop was on George Floyd's neck. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it kind of just shaped the perspective of the whole protest. So whoever thought of that idea, I got to give credit to them. I don't know who it was, because it wasn't mine. It definitely was a very an emotional experience.
It's good.
My original expectation was definitely that we were probably going to get like, I was thinking like 500 people max. Just because I had seen the other protests and I was like, okay, like it wasn't a lot of people, but it was a decent amount of people. So I was like, I mean, between the 5 of us, we all have very, very similar yet different networks. So I was like, we should probably be able to bring about 500 people or so. And so just in planning and preparation, like in my head, we were over preparing. Like we had more than enough resources. We had like just a lot of everything, which was fine. Mm-hmm. I like to be prepared, so it made sense. And then when I saw the people that showed up, like just knowing that there were thousands of people, that was like huge for me, because I was like, okay, I never expected this many people. And even when it was my turn to talk, like I was a little choked up. I'm like, I don't know, like I had words prepared for maybe 500 people. I didn't have words prepared for thousands of people. Yes. And so I know that like kind of shook me a bit, but I was very excited to see so many people that come. I know like I had came in contact with some girl that came from Vegas, and I was just like, wow, okay, like this is bigger than I had ever expected. And she was like one of the first people to come, and I was just like, Vegas, like
that's
it's
fine.
just Muncie, like
Yes.
oh my gosh, like you came all the way from Vegas. And so yeah, once the people came and I saw them, I was just overwhelmed with joy. I was just very excited that we all understood that we had bigger fish to fry. Like we're in the midst of a pandemic, all of these racial tensions, like everything that's happening right now. People are unemployed, people don't have jobs, people are losing family members. But all of us like coming together just really like meant something to me. And even seeing so many older people, I didn't expect that either. I saw a lot of senior citizens. A lot of them were coming and giving me like Muncie history, and I was like, wow, like this is insane, and it's bigger than me. It's bigger than them. It's bigger than everything that we have going on. Like it's just a lot. So I loved it.
Yeah, a couple of the senior citizens had. Well, I hate to call them senior citizens, but they was just saying like this is like history. This is history for Muncie. Now, like I'll say the first 4 or 5 times I heard that, I thought, oh, people are just being nice. They just blowing smoke. Like, they just showing regular appreciation. And then I heard it probably, I kid you not, another 25 times throughout the day. I was like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Maybe we really broke history.
Yeah.
And that was amazing alone itself. I said.
Oh yeah, you guys definitely shook some trees and made history, because I was not expecting that amount of people. When I saw the like aerial view of the drone that was in the air flying around and seeing how many people was actually out there, I was in complete shock. I really did not expect that many people to come out, because it's Muncie, and I'm like, when we do events, that many people don't come out. So listen, y'all bombed it. Y'all did amazing. I know that you guys plan for it to be peaceful. What are your feelings about having absolutely no reports of any kind of violence at all? Because I know that in other cities that have been protesting, there were records of a lot of violence and people dying and people getting put in the hospital and police getting killed. And so what were your feelings about having no reports of any violence?
I was very happy that there was no violence, but I think it was also the dynamic that we created that kind of helped us not have that issue at all. Because in other cities, like Indianapolis specifically, like the police were not protesting with them, which really doesn't matter. But in addition to that, police were the ones to kind of start things. So they would start getting violent and rowdy, and then that's when it would turn into a riot, or people would start looting. Whereas that didn't happen in Muncie at all. Like the officers really agreed to walk with us. They genuinely meant that. They genuinely protected us along the way. They gave us they gave us wait, what'd you say?
Escort.
Yeah, they gave us an escort, which kind of led the way. And I think it kind of like set not only an aesthetic, but a vibe and a certain type of energy for the protest. And I think even in the beginning, when I kind of let everybody know, like, hey, y'all saw the flyer, y'all seen the Facebook post, this is a peaceful protest, and when you showed up here, that's what you agreed to. So I'm not in the business of telling Black people how to grieve and how to feel their emotions by any means. But I think that's for this protest that we organize, it's going to be peaceful, because that's what we all agreed to. And I feel like we all just set a standard and we all were on the same page. And I believe the police really helped ensure that it stayed peaceful, just because they were not kind of pushing anybody the wrong way or rubbing people the wrong way or making comments, or they didn't come with their tear gas and their riot mask and batons blazing and
guns. They came like regular people, like
right.
They just had their uniforms on, if we're being honest. They came like regular people. They walked. And hell, if I'm being honest, I seen a couple of them chant. Which is actually kind of funny, because some of the chants was...
Now, I saw the tanks. I saw the tanks parked. And I had never seen those, the black tanks with the, I don't even know what it's called, but I saw them parked like while everybody was marching. And I was just like, where'd they get those from? But I ain't never seen those.
Nah, I think it was, like she said, we led the standard for the peace. I know I spoke on it a lot, because I was prepared for us to have kids out there. I was prepared for us to have families out there. And me being a big brother, a big cousin, godfather, uncle, all of that, like I I always have a real protective sense to myself. So I always try to watch the area and completely keep track of everything. And we had already got news of some people saying they was gonna do whatever. So I'm like, yeah, okay, okay. Little do y'all know, you feel me? The police is walking with us, and same way y'all believe in y'all Second Amendment, a lot of us do as well. Right. So I would hope, and I kept saying, I hope it doesn't come down to that. And I was praying to God it didn't come to it, and I was glad that it didn't. But setting that standard, how I would say a protest should be done.
I know that you guys talked about this a little bit about the police involvement. So were there any talk with the police before the protest happened to where you guys set that standard of this is peaceful, there will be no violence whatsoever, or looting or whatever? But did you talk to the police officers beforehand?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And I even had, in that talk, I even mentioned hey, because we agreed that they could march with us and they wanted to. But I asked the question of, in a lot of different cities, the police are marching and then they turn around and tear gas and 5 minutes later. I was like, and that's not going to be a problem, is it? And he said, no, we're coming like regular people. We're not coming to do anything more than a march. We understand what this is and we want to be a part of it. And so we had to.
Because it started with Ball State Police. I think it started with Ball State Police. Yeah, it started with BSU PD. And then, was it Missy? I think it was Miss Yvonne. Miss Yvonne, she works down at City Hall. She told me to get in contact with the chief of police for Muncie. And I was like, I don't want to be talking to the chief. I got to talk to the chief. And I ended up just having a conversation with him on the phone for about 5 minutes. We just got to know each other and we spoke about everything. And his energy and feedback to me was, we're here to help. We're here to legit help you guys. We want to make sure that this is your event and that this event goes the way you want it to. What do you need from us? And when I say anything that we could have asked for, they were on it. We set up we set up the MITS bus, the MITS buses to, bring people from the south side of Muncie to actually Ball State. And I talked to the chief and I had ran that idea by him. He was like, I got it. Let's do it. Hit the phone, called him, and it was set up. I was like,
wow.
I was like, it's easy?
When you're doing good stuff, it's always easy.
Yeah. And
Mufasa, I know that you have had your own history of being racially discriminated against. Do you want to talk a little bit about it and kind of telling us what happened and what was it like to see so many people support you in a massive way?
Yeah, I'll give a brief little talk.
Yeah.
So in class, regular student, sitting in the back. I normally sit in the front. The professor actually asked me to sit in the back that day. Sat in the back of class. Was on my laptop following the PowerPoint, just like everyone else. A young lady had to leave for some reason. Still to this day, never got told the reason why she had to leave. And it's in the professor's syllabus that you cannot leave class early. So she left. He asked me to move to the front. I explained to him, I'm following the PowerPoint. My laptop is plugged in back here. This is the only power source compared to the one that's directly in the front, and you keep walking back and forth. I don't think it would be smart. I'd rather stay back here. He gave me the options of legit moving my seat, that he was going to call the police. Now, I thought those were two big differences. I'm like, you going to call the police because I want to move my seat? And he was like, you can move, I'm going to call the police. And I was like, I'm not going to move. So he really stepped out the classroom, actually needed help to call the police is what I found out. Needed help to call the police. Police came in, they asked what was going on. That's when my buddy kind of started recording. I didn't even know he was recording, so I always thank him. So shout out to my boy Brendan for getting that video. You don't know how much that that meant to me. And got the video. Police came. They seen what was happening. They asked him before things even could escalate. I was like, let me leave, because I know me. I know how I am. I was like, let me just leave. Let me get up out of here. Left. Called my mom. I was still in shock about it. I was like, bro, did this really just happen? Called my mom. Told her. She didn't believe it. She was like, what? What? Nah, this really happened. The footage he posted, it just went viral. I didn't even know it had got posted. It just went viral. People were just like, is this you? We're like, what was this? What's going on? And I had made a tweet, and the tweet just went up right afterwards. I was like, oh my God. The news was reporting me. Everybody was just kidding me up. So I was like, you know what? I want to do something on campus. Again, Jalen and KeAyra was on it. Let's do a walkout. Set up the day. Now, I already knew I had a big following. I got a big influence just because of who I am on campus, DJing, party promoting, hosting, being Greek, all of that. So I thought it was going to have a nice turnout. I was thinking maybe like 100 kids. I was like, I don't see a whole lot of kids leaving class. But then at the same time, I was like, it is a free pass. Because the teachers and faculty had put out messages like there will be a walkout. Like, you have to let students go if they want to. So once they did that, I was like, all right, okay, maybe 200. And then I think it was like 600-700 people out there. Like, it was crazy. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. And to see like the support of us coming together, it felt good. It felt good to know that my people have my back the way I feel like I always have ours. So to know it's unity within the Black community is and as much as people try to show and act like there isn't, it's a lot.
We have a good number of allies too.
Yeah, we definitely got a good number of allies.
The forum we had after.
Well, I know that you guys had a lot of community leaders speak at the protest. And so what was it like to get those leaders to come out and speak?
It was good. It was good. Mr. Anderson came out. I had a bunch of conversations with this man on the phone previous, never had seen his face, never knew what he looked like. So when I finally got a chance to put a face to a name, when he started speaking, I was like, whoa. Like, oh, this is the guy who's always been looking out trying to help. That was unreal. Miss Jeannie Lake, Connie's mom, got up there. So yeah, make sure y'all go vote when y'all watch this. Just the vote ain't already occurred. Go vote. Hear her passion and the way the crowd, followed her. I was like, you know what? My uncle had drove from Chicago. My uncle's he's a doctor and he's a reverend. So I was like, you want to talk? Now, mind you, I know my uncle can talk. So I was a little nervous. But I was like, nah, I think I need to hear him because I like when my uncle talks to me. He hopped on stage and his last words just kind of shook the crowd, and I was like, oh wow. Like, I think people really like learned something. Like, this is what the whole idea of this protest is for. Like, we wanted to come out progressive, we wanted to come out evolutionized, we wanted to come out just better. And a lot of the protests that don't happen. People just come out angry with a couple free Douce bottles, if I'm being honest. And that's not what we wanted, because that don't help change anything. And to see the movement and the way that people have been and still are going about it, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, the support systems are unreal.
That's good. I think do you guys have a favorite part of that day? Because I think my favorite part was to see everybody down on one knee in solidarity and joining together in that moment. That was my favorite moment. But do you guys have a favorite moment from that day?
I feel like I have two favorite moments. My first one would be while we were walking up University, there was this little girl like sitting outside her house, and I waved and she waved back, and then she just like joined with me, and I was like, you gonna walk with me? Because she was younger. And I'm like, I don't know where your mama is. Like, I don't know if you're allowed to be doing this. Like, I was a little nervous, but at the same time, I'm like, I know I have like a motherly instinct or like an auntie instinct. And so it was just like, I just kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch her while she with me. So like, we just walked together and we were having like a little conversation. She was just really excited to be a part of it. And she was just so young. And I was just so happy to see her and like just to be with her and just knowing like, okay, I'm gonna keep her safe. Like, no matter what, it's gonna be a peaceful protest. Like, just being able to see somebody that was comfortable enough to just like join in with me and like me out of everybody, just like, okay, I'm gonna walk with her. Yeah. Like, that was just a really cute and sweet, innocent moment. And then my other one would just be seeing the armed Black men that walked with us. I just really appreciated that personally. I love seeing the armed Black men. I feel like oftentimes there's a narrative that Black people aren't allowed to have guns, and when Black people do have a gun, it's a problem, and it's not. If white people can have a gun, we can have one too. I'm not sure what the issue is. So just seeing them armed with their guns and stuff, and that made me really excited. And it made me feel safe, like knowing that they were here to protect us no matter what. Like, no matter what happened, they're here to fight for their people, and I appreciated that, and I love seeing it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
I think I had two as well. One, being KeAyra. Second, I definitely love seeing. Then my second was what I was talking about earlier, the way we started the protest. So that moment of silence for the 8 minutes, because it's easy to say 8 minutes when you watch the video. The video is going on, there's so much happening, but then there in silence for over 8 minutes, it really put into perspective how long that was, how long those were actually stuck, and how long people were. And it was uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable. But that moment at the beginning.
That's good.
I would say I got two favorite parts as well. One of my favorite parts, nobody knows, like nobody probably even seen it besides like me and maybe my mom. My granddad loves babies. Like my granddad loves babies like no other. Baby crazy. And it was a little white baby out there with his family, you feel me? And when I say like my granddad went over there and the baby had a little sign that said Black Lives Matter and they took a picture together, I was like, oh my God. Like it just hit the heart. It just hit the heart super hard. I was like, bruh, I almost started crying and everything. I was like, okay, all right, let me calm down. And then my second favorite part, when the chief, this was afterwards too. Nobody even seen all the stuff that my favorite part is. The chief had said okay to do an interview, and to just hear like hear him talk about what happened in Injustice and how he felt as well, and how he really wants to see a change, and he wants to be, if he can be one of those people. I always say, if I could be one of the people that helped to lead the revolution and to make a change, I will be. When he said that, I was like, all right, we really got some allies on our side. Like, okay, some people really understand. So both of those two moments just touched my heart. They really did.
That's good.
I don't know if I have a favorite part. It's probably a little biased, but my mom when she spoke, I thought that was really powerful. She really did a good job, even though it was a little long. It was. I told her 2 minutes. She was looking for 5. But that was really dope. When I stood up above everybody and I could see everybody, I thought that was like insane. Like couldn't believe it.
Yeah. That's good. Because a couple people said that Janine was Oprah Winfrey for a second. Because she said, you can do this, you can do that. That's good.
I was like, okay.
So what is next? You guys have a plan for any events that you guys want to do next, or anything in motion that you guys doing right now? So what's next?
So right now we are definitely planning an event for July. Just like a field day, like a cool little event for everybody to come to with their kids. Kids gonna have a good time, we're gonna eat, it's something that's really celebrating us and who we are as Black people. And so that's our next move. It's a celebratory event. And we're also making donations too. So a lot of people donate money, so we're donating money out to different causes. And then we're also like donating our snacks and waters that we had left over. So we're definitely still gonna be active in the community no matter what. And we definitely have another event planned.
Oh my gosh. So when I first found out that, like, you guys, knowing you guys, but just knowing that you guys put it on and you guys put it together and how peaceful it was, I got excited in my soul. I got excited. I think I screamed a little bit at work because I was talking to this lady. She is a white woman, and she was saying that she didn't understand the Black Lives Matter movement because she felt that all lives matter. And we had a conversation, and I was just like, well, this is why Black Lives Matter right now. So you don't have to understand, but just, had a conversation. So she was willing to have a conversation, and I was just like, listen here, if these people can do it, you can do it too. You don't have to just put on a really, really big event, but just having that conversation with the people that you know that's not Black and that don't understand. So I think you guys set a precedent for everybody in the Muncie community and even other cities. So you guys did an amazing job. Congratulations. I'm proud. Everybody is so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
I was pretty much saying I really want to see the same amount of energy and the same amount of support and the same amount of passion that people had at the protests later on, as we continue to progress and as we continue to speak out about the injustices that we're experiencing and facing from the system. I want to at least be able to host like sit-ins and possible forums for elected officials, officers, and just members of the community to come out and share their opinions, share their ideas and their plans on how we can change and what they would like to see not only in Muncie, but in the state of Indiana, and to inform people about the state legislators that we have representing not only the Muncie and the district and county around, but the state as well. The people who actually write legislation, they create policy, and they're the ones that are actually making change for all the hoods.
All right, I don't know if y'all seen, but did y'all see that was it the Atlanta? I think the Atlanta chief of police resigned after the shooting of their last man.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm speaking on the power of the chief resigning. Like the chief was like, from what I'm taking as the article I read, the chief said he was tired of dealing with it himself. So that was his reason for retiring.
Yeah.
I think that's powerful because without a chief, your department almost broke down. So I know that night in Atlanta got sent up because I was calling my people out there. I'm wondering just what's the next steps to happen, or if this will become a new trend.
It is going to become a trend. I think people are finally realizing, like, there's way more bad apples than there are good. And I think the good apples are now trying to get out. I think they've had enough, and they're not going to keep trying to cover things up because they're realizing that their silence is complacent. And so it's like, wow, I thought I was a good cop, but now that we're all screaming, like, you can't be a good cop if you're covering up the bad cops, that's not possible. Because if you're a good guy, you're not going to cover for the bad guy. I'm not covering for no bad guys. If I see a bad guy, I got to do my part because I'm a good person. And so I think they're all coming to the terms with that. And so I read something the other day, and they are losing officers. I think it's either on a daily basis or a weekly basis, way faster than usual. I think it's like on average 6 to 9 leaving. It's either on a weekly basis or on a daily basis. I can't remember. Probably weekly because that sounds more reasonable. But officers are like getting out of there fast and in a hurry. And I feel like everybody's coming to the same conclusion. Like, you can't repair a system that was never really meant for Black people to begin with. So when they start doing these things, killing Black people and covering it, and there are ways to cover it because the system was created for there to be ways to cover it. I mean, they're all like, okay, I'm not really doing my part, and this isn't what I really agreed to do to begin with. So I think they're all just leaving. And I'm excited for the trend. I'm excited for people to get out of there because the system is corrupt. And somebody's got to shake the table.
But don't you think that'll bring about more untrained officers?
I don't think necessarily necessarily just because I think a lot of people are calling on the issue of there are police officers. Like, you need more hours in training to become a barber than it does to be an officer. So like, people keep bringing up all these comparisons. You need more hours in training to be this and that than to be an officer. And that's like, well, how did we get here? So I feel like to be an officer, they're going to up the hours that you need in order to qualify to be an officer. And I mean, I think in some areas, they're going to go ahead and just pull the whole system. Like,
so if they do that, though, okay, I'm probably speaking in a more general sense, but if they doing all of this, you feel me? All these police officers start leaving, they have to have some order in the world. What do you think they're going to bring about is almost what I'm saying. Like, are you ready for 17-foot robots to be walking around? Like, because let's be real, these movies been telling us what's going to happen. Literally, like, if people pay attention, all the movies that they're putting out are telling us what's going to happen. Black and Blue got put out the same time as 21 Bridges. If you've seen them, then you get what I'm saying. But I don't know. It's something bigger that's about to come, and it's going to be something way worse. That's how I feel. Start joining y'all Black militias, all of that. For real. We're going to end up having to govern ourselves before I'm preparing for the worst. I think it's going to get bad.
But I don't have an opinion on whether it's going to get like better or worse first. I just know like a big change is coming. And I mean, I think we've always got the butt end of the stick anyway. So I feel like we're going to be prepared for it regardless, whatever it may be.
I feel like that change has happened already. It is slowly developing. And the more protests happen, the more people being tired of seeing police not doing their job, I feel like it's going to get, I don't feel like it's going to get worse, but I do feel like it's going to get a little bit bad before it gets better.
Because I feel like there has been a lot of killings like recently too.
And then you're starting to hear more of it. Like you're actually hearing reports of people being killed by police or seeing videos. I can't look at videos too much. It's very overwhelming, but you're starting to see more of it.
Yeah. I've stopped watching videos too. Like my mental health. I can't. I didn't even watch George Floyd's video.
No, I didn't watch all of it.
I'm not to that point. I don't like being able to scroll through and see people dying like that. I feel like nobody else has to experience that. So a lot of Black people have to experience that. Yeah. So I haven't watched it personally. Don't want to watch it. I don't want to hear it. I'll just hear people's like recounts of it and saying like how he was crying out for his mother and things like that. But even that's a little bit too much for me.
But that is the end of the show. I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. I am extremely proud of you guys. I cannot wait to see what's next for you guys, and to just see what's to come. So you have the community support, you have your peer support, and great job. Great job.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.